Are you guys gonna elevate me to something?
Yeah,
I tried to promote her as panelist. Her again. Sorry.
so funny. How long has it?
Thank you.
Year?
You're welcome. Sorry, it's Nahua filling in for Courtney today.
It seems both longer and shorter than that.
Nahua? I think in the email that I just sent you, the memo, it's not have the proposal is a separate attachment. Okay, sorry, I didn't send you the binder.
I got the proposal, and I'm just for the proposal, I'm just bringing up the picture.
I think that's all we need.
And
So no testimonies.
no,
Yeah, it's just. It's an interesting ride, I gotta say. Yeah, I've been retired 3 years. Oh my God. So Andy, how long have you been on the board now? This is at least year 2
Oh,
or
yeah, I
3.
think it's 2 years, yeah,
Well, yeah.
because it was the pandemic.
Well, yeah, when did Doug move to IFA? That's right.
So,
Just. When did Andy join the board? Like 4 years.
no, it's not 4
When
years.
Doug took
Yeah.
over as IFA director.
Well, yeah, we know that, but we don't
Yeah,
we don't
we know that.
remember how long ago it was. We're like, when, yeah, well.
That's a couple of years already, right? I think.
That's what I saw. Well, then. I'm in the folder. 2021, really?
Yeah, see, I know, I was thinking, wow. Going on 4. Well, 21.
Like September 2021.
Julie was asking, are we on?
yeah,
Is she in?
yep, she's in.
She's in.
I don't know how to get them on the other screen
Yeah.
yet. Oh, sorry.
Oh, okay.
I'm.
Oh, yeah.
For some reason the camera isn't letting me adjust either.
I think it's something on that tablet. Courtney does.
No, that changes to that one. Yeah, we had a little problem the other day trying to get the camera to zoom in and it's just not doing it. Normally I can get on the other screen all the participants
Right.
and it's just not doing that.
Is it allowing you to move them up to panelists?
Yes.
Oh, but we just can't see them.
Yeah, I have Julie and Gary on. Both of them are have their cameras off though.
Okay.
I think I might need to change the setting on that. There's Gary.
Oh, there's Karen. There's Julie.
Absolutely.
You should be able to get one of them on gallery view.
Yeah.
There we go.
There we go, okay.
Yay.
Okay, and we're live on YouTube, so
Well, we lost Julie and now we just have Gary.
Julie just turned her camera off. for a
Oh, I
minute.
see.
When they turn the camera off, you can't see them in the view, but she's still there.
So, oh, and Diana is supposed.
Yeah, I'm
to-
still here.
Okay,
Hi,
Okay.
Julie, yeah.
I didn't get any
And
email
I
from
didn't hear
Diana.
anything from Diana.
Not that she wasn't coming either,
No.
right?
Yep.
It's 5:06.
Yeah.
We have quorum.
Yeah, quorum.
Yeah.
Go for it,
Yep.
yeah.
Let's start.
Okay, it's 5:06. I'm gonna call the meeting to order. For the record, all attending by Zoom, please raise your hand if you have anyone else in the room with you. Seeing none, for the record, the attendance of Zoom board members are by themselves. Okay, so there is no public testimony. And we will move to approval of the minutes of the February 6th meeting. Are there any changes to the minutes that were circulated?
No,
No.
Can I have a motion to accept the minutes as submitted?
motion to accept the minutes as accepted.
Thank you, Julie. Is there a second?
Second.
Oh, let Andy second.
Okay. Thank you, Andy.
Julie moved, Andy second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Raise your
Aye.
hands. Aye. Approved unanimously. So we will now move to Kahukumana.
So I have a brief Kahukumana report on behalf of Kahukumana. So Kahukumana will has their next scheduled meeting this Thursday. Where we will be updating them on our inventory of cultural artifacts. As I have shared with you folks in the past, one of the things that we have been involved in the last several months is in developing inventory of all of our assets and liabilities in preparation for transfer to MK Soil. This needed to go through all of the cultural artifacts that have been collected over the years as a result of our archaeological inventory, as well as stuff that gets discovered during construction activities and whatnot. So Kaleo has updated that inventory, and we now need to develop a plan with Kahukumana's guidance on the eventual disposition of these. What should be curated, and if and how they should be displayed. What are the storage requirements for them? What can be returned to their original sites, because they're relatively of minor consequence. And then also needing to get some guidance from State Historic Preservation Division on what it will require. So we told Kahukumana, we've discussed this with Kahukumana, that this is something that we're working on, and they're very interested in wanting to work with us on this. We are going to be looking at dedicating, finding a day where we can dedicate the better part of a day, or at least a half a day, for them to come. All that stuff is in storage here in this building downstairs. And so, we want them to come and look at what we have and, what Kaleo has recommended as disposition so that we could, develop a plan, for how to handle that stuff going forward. It is pretty extensive piece of work. A lot of the material is basically adds flakes and things like that, but there are some other significant materials that have been collected over time. So that's sort of next on target for Kahuku to help us work with us on helping us do that. The second item related to Kahuku is that Nahu and I continue to work on a scope of work to hire a consultant who can help us and Kahuku update our cultural resource management actions. This is something that I mentioned to you folks before that we wanted to do prior to the transition to MK-SOA. With everything else that's going on, we haven't made progress yet, so nothing to report here on that. But that's not something that is pressing due to a timeline. It's something that we want to do. And so we'll get to it as soon as we can. So those are the two things from Kahuku that we're working on. As I said, they'll be meeting this Thursday, and hopefully we'll be able to find a day that we can all dedicate to coming here and examining the artifacts that we have. Any questions on Kahuku report?
Yeah, I got one question, Greg. So was that a collection permit that's gonna transfer to MK-SOA with the material?
The data collection permits?
Yeah,
Yeah. All of the research permits and everything transfers.
okay.
I have Doug in the waiting room. Is he supposed to come in?
Who?
Doug Simon?
No,
Okay.
no. Is he on Zoom? I mean,
On Zoom. yeah.
YouTube?
Yeah.
Any other questions? So, along those lines, Julie, I would say that Justin Ye, our natural resource, management manager, has, done a similar activity, and part of the inventory that he created is all of the past and current ongoing research projects, that faculty, from UH and from, other institutions have going on here. So all of those would be transferring as well. Any other questions?
So executive director report.
Okay. So the first item on my ED report tonight is the VLBA GPS relocation project. We sent you folks the materials for the project. I'm going to ask Joy to describe the project and provide a bit of a summary of what's in the documents. But essentially, what I want to emphasize is that this is a project that we have classified as a type A project, which is the lowest level. It doesn't require permits and things like that. But we are wanting to bring them forward for your information so that you understand what are aware of some of the things that are going on. These are the kinds of projects, small and large, that the Maunakea Authority will also need to develop a process for evaluating as well. So part of the reason for me to bring this forward is to also be able to put it out there in public so that we can begin working with MK-SOA on getting them familiar with what's involved in developing these projects. So I'm going to ask Joy to kind of give you an overview of highlights of the project.
Thank you, Greg, and good evening, board members, Chancellor Irwin, and others. As Greg said, the Very Long Baseline Array is one of the summit facilities, and they are also one of 10 similar radio facilities across the United States and the Virgin Islands. At their other sites, they have updated their GPS equipment, and they are seeking to do the same here on Maunakea. The update, the unit that they currently have is about 30 years old. It was approved under a previous site plan in a few years after the original VLBA facility itself was approved in 1996. And their other sites have upgraded their GPS equipment. And it's important that all of the GPS units are synchronized. And this helps them with data processing between their facilities for their interferometry and also for establishing accurate time measurements for their astronomical work. So the existing GPS unit is actually in the ground. The replacement unit, this request that we're providing to you, is going to go on their building, and it will just be a replacement, which is why it doesn't need any outside permitting. And it's shown there. That's one of the other sites where another GPS unit has already been replaced. And that's about how it would look on the VLBA on Maunakea. So it's pretty straightforward. There are no impacts to the environment. There are no cultural or historical sites nearby. It won't obviously increase the footprint, no ground disturbance either. So that's the request.
So any questions on the project itself?
No, I don't think
And
so.
Andy, do you know? I mean, Joy described it a little bit, but how does the GPS sort of work with what they do, their radio telescope?
I think it provides accurate time information,
Time information.
yes. And,
It looks at some distant quasar, right?
well, they do. But the GPS is just the satellites, the usual GPS satellites, but they provide an accurate time signal. An accurate time signal is important if you're going to try to put together radio signals received here with radio signals received in Puerto Rico or on the mainland.
Okay.
Right, and so if you don't have the time signal, you can't combine them. And so this gives them a much better combination and therefore much better positional accuracy on the sky.
So synchronizing all of everything.
Yeah, because it's like you're picking up radio waves. It's like the two slit experiment back at school. You get an interference pattern, but you only get the interference pattern if it's coherent. And to be coherent, you need time. So, yeah. I think.
That makes sense. Thank you.
I'm not a radio astronomer, don't quote.
Any other questions?
I just see that it was in the 3-year outlook, which Cabo Kumana determined no further consultation, so.
Right.
It's kind of just following the
Yeah.
plan.
Yep.
No questions.
Okay, if there are none, then I'll move on to a couple other items I do have in my update. The next item I wanted to update you folks on is the underground fuel storage tank replacement project at Halepohaku. I've mentioned this in the past. It is something that we are working with the consultants on. We're at the stage now where we're refining and trying to finalize the design of the new system going forward. We anticipate, and costs are being estimated, costs right now are estimated to be about $2 million for this project. So we're working with the MKOs on figuring out how those costs will be allocated across the MKOs and UH. The project is not yet ready for your review by our advisory groups. We're thinking that, but we'll be ready to bring it forward sometime in the May, June timeframe the Environment Committee, Kahukumana, Maunakea Management Board, and then we will take it to the Maunakea Stewardship Oversight Authority as well. I have apprised I did provide a briefing on this project to MK SOA back in, I believe it was November. And plan on updating them again at their next board meeting. They have indicated that this is a project that they want to review and approve as well. So they will be worked into the review process once we start that. So I'm just wanting to make sure the Maunakea Management Board is aware of the project. It is moving forward. We anticipate it coming forward in the next couple of months as a real project. It is something that as a reminder, we have to do. The permit for for the old underground tanks, it expires in 2028. So we do have to remove the old tanks, decommission them, replace them with these new tanks that are up to current standards. Just as a little aside, you'll get more of it when we actually bring the full project forward. But what we're looking at right now is an above ground system so that there's less ground disturbance, and our needs aren't quite as big. So it would be a smaller tank as well for both diesel and gasoline. So just a heads up, we'll keep you apprised, let you folks know when it's actually ready to come forward. Any questions about that one? Okay. Next item I have is the MKSOA transition process. A number of things are in motion at this point. Obviously, hopefully everyone on this board is familiar with the fact that the authority did select and vote to hire a executive director, Mr. John DeFries. That was decided at a public meeting last week held by the authority. I know many of us know John. He has a really broad kind of background and resume, but most recently was director at HTA, Hawaii Tourism Authority. I have reached out to John. He's told me that projected start date for him is the 20th of this month. Looking to try to set up a series of meetings or a process so that we can begin the process of bringing him on board and getting him familiar with what the management of the Mauna entails. I know he's going to be busy with in the next month getting started, and also he said he wanted to spend time getting to know his board members a little bit more. So that offer is out there, and we'll start his onboarding, if you will, as soon as he's in his seat and sort of ready to go. Second item related to the transition is I've mentioned before that we have been working on development of a complete inventory of all our assets and liabilities, contracts, legal obligations, etc., in preparation for the transfer of authority to Wayne.
Sorry. Yeah, it kicked him out and I just added him.
Okay.
So he's on now.
Wayne is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Wayne just joined.
So the purpose of developing those inventories is to prepare for the transfer. So one of the things that MKSOA has done is established a working group, 2 of their members, along with a UH member, and then DLNR member as needed, and others that they can bring in to begin going through the process of looking at what would be involved in the transfer of these assets. And so that group is holding its first meeting this Thursday. We that meeting will be with our respective attorneys as well, because we want to make sure we are clear on how information is going to be handled, et cetera. The first tranche of material has been sent to MKSOA, or the two MKSOA members who were on this committee. It's chaired by Ben Kudo and then Paul Horner. What we've sent them for now is complete listing of leases, permits, major kind of contracts, environmental studies, things like that where we have, we meaning the university, have obligations to fulfill in fulfillment of those documents, those agreements. That material by itself is hundreds and hundreds of pages, so it's going to take a while to go through. We have queued up sort of next tranches of material that we'll be sending over as the working group is ready. Ben has shared his thoughts with me on a process that he envisions the working group going through. We'll learn more about it at our meeting on Thursday. It does appear that this will take, in his view, clearly the whole 5-year period. In some cases, maybe even extending beyond 2028 before transfer of some of these assets can actually occur. The good thing is that process is in process. So if you want to know how many towels and spoons we have, you can ask Hua. If that's of interest to you. I'm a little bit more focused on things like leases and permits myself. I still have some more updates, but or other items to cover, but that's what I was going to cover in terms of the transition. Any questions? Okay, hearing none, I'll continue. Decommissioning. As you know, Maunakea is in the news, with some good news this week or last week. I think at our last meeting, I reported that we had completed a pre-construction safety and cultural briefing with the contractors. That went really well. Contractors finalizing their pre-construction submittals to UH facilities. There's a target start date for the end of March to begin the actual deconstruction process. Anticipated completion date is 4 months. Well, I think it's actually August, July or August. CSO, Caltech submillimeter. As you know, that the project was paused for the winter. However, last week, Helco did come up and on February 29th, and they removed a transformer that served the building. There was a cultural and safety briefing provided conducted by CMS staff and our consultants for the contractor. There's a crew of about 25 people who came up for that job. It was well coordinated. According to our construction monitor, the job went very smoothly without a hitch. Everyone returned home safely that evening. Construction to remove the dome and the foundation and the rest of the decommissioning is scheduled to restart in April.
Diana just joined us.
Oh, Diana joined as well?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Awesome. She's got her camera off and she should be on.
Oh, there she is.
I'm
Alright.
so sorry. Sorry to be late.
No, glad you could join us. So any questions on decommissioning? Okay, and then the last area I wanted to cover is just give you an update on our outreach and education efforts. I know that's been important to all of us. So our outreach program continues to grow. Last month, we hosted the Rotary Club's Youth Leadership Camp, as well as the First Nations Futures Leadership Program, which is a leadership program for indigenous leaders early in their careers, from Hawaii, Aotearoa, and Alaska. In the past, First Nations has also had Guamanian as part of the program. Both programs, they have their own curriculum. We hosted them at Halepohaku. So they have their own curriculum, their own program, but we provide additional education and community service experiences during the program. So we can build upon their participants' understanding of the Mauna and what CMS does up there. Those went very, very well. This month, we are hosting 2 UH Hilo groups following a similar format, the Bonner program and students from the Kipuka Native Hawaiian Learning Center. And both of those focus on civic leadership and participation. So similar kind of format. Next week, Kaleo and the team will also be participating in a STEM education program at Kanawoka'aina Charter School in Waimea, where they will be sharing the many types of science or management responsibilities that are involved in our stewardship responsibilities on the Mauna, as well as about astronomy. As far as I can recall, at least since I've been here, it's the first opportunity we've actually had to go into a charter school and do something like this, and we're really looking forward to this opportunity. It gives us a chance to touch a wider range of students, as well as get involved with the schools and the teachers a little bit more, so that they learn about what our programs are all about and what we have to offer in the way of hands-on educational experiences on the Mauna. So we're really, really excited about that. And then our stargazing program at the Viz continues to receive very strong interest. It keeps selling out. Well, it's not for sale. People sign up. It's a free program. People sign up, but usually within the first couple of minutes, maxed out already. And so it has a real strong interest, but we're not necessarily, our local kama'aina aren't necessarily able to access it as readily. So to offset that overwhelming interest we've had from visitors, not from here, we're piloting a special offering for kama'aina only. We're starting with our CMS staff and family members. And our plan is to kind of grow that component as resources allow, so we can have a kama'aina only night kind of thing. So we'll see how that goes. But our staff have been willing to take that on. They believe they can take it on. They enjoy doing those events. And so in closing, I just want to mahalo Kaleo, Justin, and his natural resources team, and all of our visitor staff, Joy and others who are making these things, enabling these things to happen. Because there are approvals that we have to get, and insurance indemnifications we have to get, and all of that kind of stuff. And it takes a bit of work, and it's really because of everybody's efforts that we're starting to be able to do more of this. So with that, that concludes my ED report for this evening.
Thank you, Greg. The next agenda item is executive session to consult with our attorney. Is there a need or?
Yes,
make a motion?
Yes, I'd like to make a motion that we move into executive session, Chair, to discuss issues related to the transition and our authorities in that process with our attorney.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Diana. We have a motion and a second to move into executive session. All those in favor say aye, raise your hand. Aye. Unanimous. So we will now move into executive session, and we will resume the meeting once we're done.
Could you please resend the link?
Yeah, no, we'll send it.
Thanks.
Thanks. are addressing and needing to move forward.
You're gonna have to repeat that, sorry. It was on mute.
Oh, really?
Were you able to hear all of that? No.
No, okay.
Sorry. I
Okay,
just
so
heard that was
I
on
have
mute.
to read, okay.
Yeah, redo it.
Sorry, it is now 6:19. I will reconvene the public meeting. And for the record, attendees via Zoom, please raise your hand if there's someone else with you in the room. Seeing none, for the record, all attendees are by themselves via Zoom. And I'm gonna turn it over to Greg to summarize the executive session.
Thank you, Chair. So we convened in executive session to consult with our board, the board's attorney on questions and matters pertaining to our powers, duties, privileges in our joint management role with the Maunakea Stewardship Oversight Authority. We discussed a couple of specific projects that are going to require review, joint review, and made sure that people understood what's involved with those projects. There were no decisions made, no recommendations made, no conclusions arrived at during our discussion with our attorney. And that's my summary for the executive session.
Thank you. We'll move on to announcements. The next public meeting will be on Tuesday, April 2nd at 5 p.m. Any other announcements? Greg?
Chair, a couple of things. Number one, the news on TMT was about the milestone was about the 100th mirror panel being constructed. That's all it was.
Oh,
Yeah, and then I also got clarification according to the governor at his interview. He said that Regent Nahale Oz term expires July 1st. That's his interpretation, so we'll see.
thank you for that information.
Thank you, that is helpful. I did have one question, just what, at the last meeting, Chair, you indicated you might be traveling in April. Is that meeting going to conflict with your schedule?
No, actually, I think I will be on island,
Okay.
so
Thank you.
I'll be here. Let's see, any other announcements? Okay, if not, it is now 6:22. I will adjourn the meeting and I wish everyone happy Easter. So maybe, that'll be the smiley face that we end the meeting with. So enjoy it with family and your ohana. Aloha.
Aloha. Thank you.
Aloha.
Aloha.
Thank you.